Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, and I'm thankful for a lot of things. I'm a pretty lucky guy, and I imagine most of you in this room are too. So it's a good time to be thankful for a lot of things. We've got a really good football team coming in here. BYU is an exceptional football team. They had a period when they were struggling when the starting quarterback was out with a hand injury, but since that time, they've been playing at a level. Since he got back, since he's been the starting quarterback and he got back, it's the best football team we'll play against all year to this point.
What's your sense on Ryan Agnew's availability?
We're going to keep him off his feet today and tomorrow and see how he feels on Thursday.
What's the pecking order if it's not him?
Carson Baker and then Jordan would play after that. Mark Salazar is hurt. Joe Green, our freshman quarterback, is hurt. And we have 5 quarterbacks, only 2 of them are healthy.
Rocky, when the goal all season long that everyone talks about, players, coaches, is win the Mountain West Conference, and that goal has been lost with 1 game to go. Do you reassess and set some new goals to win your final 2 games to get to double-digit win totals again, or how do you?
Well, I mean, here we are. It's Thanksgiving. I mean, that's our number 1 goal. But guess what? We've done a lot of really good things this year. Really good. I mean, defense statistically is one of the best defenses in the country. I think I've been told this, that we're the only college football team and pro football team in the state of California that has qualified for postseason play the last 10 years. That's pretty darn good stuff now. I'm telling you, that's pretty good stuff. We have 8 wins already, so we'll have a winning record no matter what happens the next 2 games. We're going to get to play in a bowl game. No matter what happens, we're going to get to play in a bowl game. So you can take one thing, which is our primary goal. Our primary goal is to win the conference championship. And you can say it's a terrible season because we didn't hit our number 1 goal. Anybody in this room that hits their number 1 goal all the time, you shouldn't be sitting in this room because you're a multi-billionaire and you should be having a good time. So if you don't hit your number 1 goal, but you hit about 50 other ones, it's a pretty darn good year, no matter what happens in the next 2 games. We've had a great year. We have great kids in our program. We're losing a bunch of really good seniors. And the naysayers out there can say whatever they want. We've had a great season.
What can you say about the senior class? Obviously, senior night.
I'm really proud of the senior class because I think they took a leadership role. Because I think toward the end of last season, we did not play the same way we normally play. We didn't play as hard. We didn't play with the want to we should have. And in the offseason, we reestablished what this program is all about. And it doesn't happen unless your leadership buys in. And this senior class bought in. They've made a huge difference, good, bad, or in between. They've always had the right attitude about it, and it's been team first. And so this senior class has done a great job. I don't know how many of them are NFL guys. Most of them are not. So the next 2 games is the last 2 games they'll ever get to play. I can still remember the last game I ever played, so I know what they're feeling, especially the ones that know they're not NFL guys. I know exactly how they feel. And so it'll be strange and sad all at the same time for them. But I think our senior class has done a great job.
Rocky, what are your thoughts on independent football teams? It's such a weird thing. In other sports, everyone belongs to a league. Do you think there's a place for it, or would you prefer to see everybody in a league?
Oh, I'd much prefer everybody be in a league. That's my personal feeling, but I'm sure every school that is independent for a reason. Some of them, they can't afford the scheduling because the league they'd be in, they'd have to travel great distances, so they can't afford that kind of thing. Some of them think they can make more money by themselves than within a league. And so I'm sure if a university can make more revenue being an independent, that's probably a smart thing to do. I mean, there's a lot of reasons for doing it. I wish everybody was in a league.
Why?
Oh, because I think eventually there's going to be a national tournament. And I think the independents, unless you're Notre Dame, all the independents are going to be left out except Notre Dame.
You played 2 independents this year. New Mexico State decided to stay in the Western Athletic Conference after the conference dropped football. So, as I said, in terms of something like that, and of course, the other San Diego school, USD, is in a specific football conference because everybody else in that conference is in a conference which doesn't have football. So, what do you see if there is? Well, let me ask you this: with the CTE going on, and I think you remember when we had college boxing years ago. I mean, if we start to lose football programs, do you think we'll see more independence because they do survive conferences, or do you think we'll see something like the Pioneer Football League?
Well, I think that if you look at all divisions in football, and I'm gonna say something, and I don't know the exact facts, so don't take it for gospel. I'm gonna say the number of football teams, if you count all divisions of college football, are increasing. At the Division III level, they're adding college football teams in order to get more males on their campuses. So there might be some Division I teams that will drop down to Division II, or Division II teams that drop down to Division III because of financing. But the likelihood of them dropping football is getting less and less all the time for reasons I don't understand. But it has to do with federal funding. So I'm talking about something I don't understand, but I know that the Division III level has increased the number of football teams they have.
Last question, independent. Would you want to coach an independent football team knowing there's really nothing to play for?
Well, I think they are playing for something. I mean, BYU's already got a bowl game lined up.
They've known they're going to this bowl game 3 years ago, if they were bowl eligible.
Well, if they're bowl eligible, yeah.
Yeah.
So there are some advantages. You can set your own schedule. For a team like BYU and Notre Dame, that's not hard. For a team like New Mexico State, they have a hard time developing a schedule. I think they play one team twice, home and home. So when you're an independent at their level, it's very, very difficult. If you're an independent at BYU and Notre Dame's level, it's not. And you can set your schedule so that you have a really good chance to win. And you can set your schedule that you are a prime candidate to be in the playoff system once the playoff system is expanded. And you're not counting on being the league champion or being a divisional champion and playing a league championship game. You don't have to win all those games. All you got to do is go undefeated. So you can set your schedule so that you go undefeated. And guess what? If you're Notre Dame and you're in the national championship game or the tournament, you're in the national
That's a great
championship.
deal. Why are you against it then?
I think you always ought to play in a league that you play for a championship. Those teams are playing to be in the national tournament, which is a championship too, by the way.
What did you think when BYU left the conference? And do you think BYU coming back to the Mountain West would be a huge addition to this conference in terms of national notoriety to join Boise and you guys?
I think that BYU, if they came back to our conference, would be a positive. I think because they have a national audience, and they have history that proves that they're a good football program. I think it'd be a positive if they were back in our league. Yeah.
BYU gets this fan base here fired up like no other team. Does that surprise you, or how much aware are you of that?
Well, I hope they do. I hope we have 40,000 people at the game, because our people are coming. That's probably 25 to 30,000 of our people. They'll come. So if we got 40 or 45 or 50,000, that really means BYU draws a big crowd. If we're around 30, they didn't bring anybody.
40 years ago, San Diego State and BYU played for the WAC championship. BYU won by 49 points. Is losing the game for the championship by 3 points any less heartbreaking than getting blown out?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I'd feel a lot worse if we got beat by 45. I'd feel a lot worse. And I think our team would feel a lot worse. To have a chance right to the very end to keep the game going and still have a chance to win, I think all championship games ought to be like that. I think anytime you play for any kind of championship, you hope that both teams are equal, and it's a highly competitive game, and it comes down to the end. I think all championship games you would like to be like that.
Rocky, do the current players on the team have any idea of the history of the BYU Aztecs?
No way, no how. So if we want to build up this big rivalry with BYU, the only ones that know are me, maybe Horton. You know, anybody that's over 60, we understand. but anybody under 30 has no idea how heated those rivalries were and how much people, because BYU was one of the top teams in the country for years and years and years, so people shot to try to knock them off. Our boys have no idea about any of that. I had to tell them the other day that some of their players are 25 to 27 years old, and they looked at me like my head was cut off. So, see, they don't even know that part of it. They've watched them on film, so they know they're a darn good football team, but they don't know all that other stuff. I told them they're the most mature football team we're going to play. They have no idea what that means. But from the age of 18, playing against 24 and 25-year-olds, you in this room, how much different were you at 25 as compared to 18? There's a huge difference. There's a thing called man strength that you get about 25 or 26 years old. You don't have it at 18. No matter how much they think they're a grown man, they are not.
How much are they interested in the history of it?
They're not at all. They don't care. All they care about is playing the game and trying to win. And I'm glad they're like that. That's the way they ought to be. They got plenty of time left in their life to worry about stuff.
Showing
And
the
think
tape of
about
the 51-51 tie, the Detmer game here.
We're not showing any of those films. I think, are they still around? Can we get copies of that stuff?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you've been on record saying that if it was up to you, you would not schedule BYU after they left the conference. Colorado State is the only team, I believe, in the Mountain West that has not scheduled them. Do you admire Colorado State for not doing that? I know they've tried. And
Oh, did they try?
I
don't know.
According to their AD, when I talked to them, they go, we tried to play everybody and only one team won't play us. So
I already just mentioned that I think that BYU would be a very strong addition to our league and would help our league entirely. And I think they'll come back if people don't schedule them. If we will not schedule them, so they have an unbelievable hard time of developing a schedule, that might make them come back into the league. I don't have anything against BYU. In fact, my mother and father are alumni of BYU. They both graduated. They met there. They got married there. I was born there. I mean, I have nothing against BYU, and I think they'd be a strong addition to our league. And the way to get them back is to not schedule them. Make them hunt and peck and try to find a schedule. I mean, half their schedule or 3/4 of their schedule are Mountain West Conference teams already.
You have, between BYU and your bowl opponent, those will be the two biggest challenges to keeping every opponent to under 25 points this year. But how is that going to allow your next year's defense to build on that you've allowed fewer than 25 points in each of your first 11 games?
First of all, statistics, I don't look at any of those. I'd look at them, but those statistics don't mean a darn thing to me until after the season's over and we do our evaluation of the program and evaluation of everything. I think there's a chance for a very strong defense next year because most of them are coming back. I mean, we lose a couple really good players, but we have a whole bunch of guys with a lot of experience that are coming back. So the chances of being really good on defense next year are in a very positive light.
Has it been hard to have an offense that's so Jekyll and Hyde? One week to the next, you never quite know what you're going to get.
No, I think that's just sports. Every team has an identity, and some have a different identity from year to year depending on who their players are. And it's good for people to know that, even at the level, the NFL level, where they draft, they pay, and one of the best teams in the league has the best defense and the worst offense, the New England Patriots. I saw that on TV, it made me feel good. I mean, Tom Brady is considered the best quarterback in the league, and they've got a terrible offense, and they keep winning. So it can be done a whole bunch of different ways. Some people believe you outscore everybody and everybody's happy, and some people play good defense and control the football, and you have a chance to win no matter how you do it.
How would you describe BYU's way of winning? I mean, I'm reading 52, 42, 31 in the last game, so how would you describe their team?
Well, they look like the old BYU team to me the last 3 weeks, which means they're pretty good on defense and really, really, really good on offense. Now, I told you already they had a 3 or 4 game span there that they didn't play very good, and their starting quarterback was hurt. Well, he's back 100%. And they look like the BYU team of old to me. They can run it, they can throw it. Nobody ever stops them. They score a whole bunch of points, and their defense is good enough to keep the other team off the board.
What do you have to say about their quarterback? Is it Zach?
Wilson, right?
Wilson?
Yeah, he's like all of the good ones now. He's very accurate with the football. He can throw the deep ball, and then if there's no throws there, he can hurt you with his legs.
If Agnew can't go Saturday, what can you say about Baker and Brookshire, what they bring to the table?
I don't know. And it's a bad answer, right? But I don't know. I haven't seen him in live action since spring practice, and that's an unfair evaluation because you're playing ones against ones, twos against twos, threes against threes. So I've never seen either one of those quarterbacks with our number one offense. So I have no idea, and I've never seen him against the other team's number one defense. So I have no idea what we're going to get.
Anything else for Coach?
Ever hike to the Y?
Have I ever been up to the Y? No, I haven't. Is it nice? I've seen it up there on the hill. I've
It's a
seen
pretty view.
Is it pretty?
Tough hike.
That's a pretty place. The stadium setting and all that, that's a really pretty place. I'm glad they're playing here instead of us playing there, though.